Okay. Hello, everybody. I have the pleasure to be here with Dr. Luciana Alves from São Paulo. She's a specialist in the studies of racism and whiteness, and she wrote about that. And I have the pleasure also to be here with Anat Ben Israel, which is a psychotherapist from London. She lives in United States, in London, and she's also comes from Argentina. So it's a real pleasure to be with both of you here and receive you in this contest. And I will appreciate to listen your conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rubens, for introducing us. And it is really a pleasure to be with you, Luciana. And maybe if you could share with us a bit about your journey to where you are today, just what you would like us to know a little bit about yourself.
Nice to meet you both. My English is terrible, but I will try to speak with you. I'm nowadays, I don't know how to say that in English, Dean or Prodin at University of São Paulo, Federal University of São Paulo. And I deal in my work with questions or issues, better saying, issues linked to affirmative action and students' issues like poverty or other minority students who achieved college, and they represent groups that were not in college in the past. So they challenge the ways university here in Brazil works. And I deal with this kind of stuff in my work daily. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And how did you get to be interested in the white, the other? You wrote a book about that. Can you share a bit about that and about the crisis that we are having today of how people see each other and relate to each other?
Okay. When I started my master's studies, I intended to study Black teachers, and I am a Black teacher too. So I was looking to myself and people like me, and my advisor suggested me to look to others. So here in Brazil, we didn't have researches about whiteness in that days. So it was around 2007. And I started to read about that in English. So I had two challenges: read in English and read about others, because we in Brazil never thought white people were had to deal with racial issues. So when I started to read the critical whiteness studies from US, I discovered a new, how can I say, a new field of studies. And I started to question myself and the works we have, the researchers we have here in Brazil about how about white people. If we consider racial relationships, so you must look to the other point of view. So I started to ask about how white people here in Brazil construct their racial identities, and about how these identities deal with racism at all. So I chose talking with teachers. I don't know how to say that in English. I think elementary teachers.
Yes,
elementary. okay, who were engaged with the fight, and engaged with fighting racism in school, basic schools, so elementary schools, sorry. So the question I proposed to them was really simple. What does it mean to be or being white in a context like Brazil, where we used to say we are mixed people or something like that? We don't have a definite race or something like that. And they used to answer me, I never thought about that. So it was a really big challenge discovered with this kind of subjects. What does it mean to be white in Brazil? And I discovered that it's a mix between being not quite white, because we are real mixed people, but we have ways to put whiteness in progress here, and it depends on your economical condition, how light is your skin, and which context you live your life, and with people are around you, what people are around you. So here in Brazil, we are not so concerned about heritage or about, how can I say that, genetics. Mm-hmm. Here, whiteness is a matter of appearance. So yeah, we classify white people based on physical characteristics, and it's being white here is not the same of being white in Europe or US, for example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very interesting to think about the obvious. To investigate what nobody thinks about, but actually there is a lot of depth to the experience of the Brazilian white, which may have a mix, but they came out white. Yeah, and
yeah. Here in Brazil, we have an author who says, being white in Brazil is like to face a glass wall. You don't mind with that, but when you start to be concerned about that, it's like to go through this glass wall. Yes. And it's not a really comfortable process. It's like discover herself or himself, being part of a system of oppression who not pose difficulties just for Black people, but provide gains to white people too. And assume you are privileged, it's really hard for some white people here in Brazil, and I imagine in all the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And can you share a little bit what you're going to be talking about in your presentation?
I am thinking about speak how this kind of whiteness, who is not quite white, is possible here in Brazil in a context that we, how can I say, reivindicar, Rubens, claim ourselves, this mixed heritage. So we are proud about our grandma who was black, and our grandfather who were white, and something like that. But when someone faces you and asks you what is your race, you say, I'm white. What does it mean? So I will put together the myth of racial democracy, that still works here in Brazil, We are all mixed, and we are all together, and race doesn't mind to our relationship. But instead of it, I will provocate, I think, the audience about this kind of argument doesn't support the evidence, especially the statistical ones. So we have two Brazils. One that, how can I say that? Apostar? I don't know.
Challenge.
Challenge?
Challenge.
No, I don't think it's that.
Opposing?
To bet.
Okay. Bet in this myth, and officially included in discourses of politicians and in the media and other Brazil that challenges this kind of myth that it poses not just in structural and institutional ways, but in the daily life, in relationships that we construct with each other, blacks and whites. And I don't know, I think I am really, for me, it's really difficult to put it in English. I don't know if you understand what I said.
Well, I'll tell you what I understood, that there is a main line of how the lack of racism in Brazil, that you are all one. However, in real life, it's not like that.
Yes. And the way we construct whiteness plays a whole
Yeah.
role, plays a big role in this kind of construction. So here in Brazil, we don't talk about whites, and we don't talk about how white people deal with racism and benefit from it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you will be talking about that.
Yes, it's the main issue.
Yes. Well, that's really, I look forward to hearing, because you are looking at it from a different point of view, and that is always interesting. And different people from different parts of the world that will be listening, whether they are white, whether they are dark skin, whether they are yellow, whatever color, whatever way that we see each other, could be very interesting and thought-provoking. So I'm really looking forward to hear your talk. And is there any few words that you would like to say to complete this kind of introductory interview?
And I would like to dialogue with you, the idea that you just posed, just said. Here in Brazil, I think in other parts of the world too, Black people have too much thing to say about whites. So we think about whiteness every day, and not just when we face white people, but when we are in our ordinary life, because race is linked or is associated for us Black people with whiteness. So I in the speech, I intend to bring some highlights about what Black people thinks about whiteness too here in Brazil.
Well, that would be very interesting, because a lot of time this is what we don't hear, what people think one group about another group. Yeah. So I look forward so much to listen to you, Luciana, and I want to thank you for this time. And in this short time that we had together, I already got some thoughts moving and feelings, and that's really nourishing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, sorry. I would like to thank you both, for the opportunity to speak with you and to speech, to have a speech in the I don't know if it is a seminar or something like that. I forgot, Rubens.
Seminar. It's a interactive seminar. So you talk, and after there is an interaction with the people that are listening. It was very important to listen to you, and I think it's very important what we learned from you too. Thank you so much, Luciana, for your presence, your kindness, your really earthy presence. Thank you so much.